Hello, everybody. This is Linda DeVitas, owner and founder of healingsonthego.com. I'm an author, host of Healings on the Go with Linda DeVitas, psychic clairvoyant medium, certified Reiki healer, magnified healer, crystal healer, professional space clearer, dolphin healer, candle manifestation channeling. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I would like to welcome my special guest and childhood friend, Jimmy Dimopoulos, to the show. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you for tuning in.
He's the main, not the main character, but he knows exactly about my journey living in that haunted house with my mom's. And he played a big role in my journey from darkness to the light, where you can find it on my site, healingsonthego.com. Welcome, Jimmy.
Thank
Would
you,
you
Linda.
like?
For having
You're
me.
welcome. It's my pleasure.
For mentioning me in your book. Thank you.
My pleasure. So, thank you. Hi, Maria, and hi, Cindy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hi, Lorraine. Welcome to the show. So today, Jimmy's going to talk about his own experience and what he witnessed at my mom's house when we were younger.
Yeah. Should we start it?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So first thing I remember clearly, because there was a lot of things that happened, right? But the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of the apartment you guys used to live in is the time when we were in the kitchen, and I think we were already like speaking about stuff that was going on, and then the glass on the table just like moved, and there's no way all three of us saw something and we're crazy, you know. It happened.
Exactly.
There's no denying it, you know. It happened.
Exactly.
You know? And then noises. I remember always noises. And then something else had happened, but my memory is not too good these days. But something else had happened in your bedroom too that spooked the hell out of us. At least me, for sure. I don't remember exactly what that was at this moment, you know. During my health, as you know, I've been through a few rough years, so my memory's a little foggy these days, you know.
It's okay. It was so many years ago too, but I think I know which one you're talking about, because back then that lady used to always linger in the bedrooms. That was like one of her favorite spots, and of course she had to be on my bed.
Yeah.
So,
you were the top bed, I think.
So Despina was the top. I was on the bottom. Me and Maria were always on the bottom.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And through the corner of my eye, I used to see her be like,
man, that's crazy. That's nuts. But you know what? I'm sure nothing scares you when you deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's on a whole different level, you know.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember clearly we're sitting around the table in the kitchen, and we're talking with Jerry, and then I told him, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And then he goes, you know, Jerry's very mellow, easygoing. So we're just sitting around talking, and then all of a sudden, right, I felt like something's coming up. So the cup was like moving slowly. And then remember, we were, my father comes in, and in Greek, he goes, "Listo, blank," like, you know, what the hell's going on? So then we're like, and then we threw the cup down, and we all started screaming. It was so hysterical. At the same time, Jerry was like, "I'm out of here."
I forgot Jerry was there, actually. I remember me, you, and Maria, but now that you're speaking of it, yeah, he was there too. So that makes four of us.
Exactly.
You know? What are the odds that all four of us hallucinated the same exact thing at the same exact time? You know?
Yeah, and exactly. For people that don't know, the house, yes, is still haunted, and my mom still does live there.
She's used to it, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, but you want to hear a funny story? It was like months ago. She calls me up, and she's like, my sister went somewhere, and she was sitting in the kitchen, and all of a sudden she saw the chair creak back, like backwards. And she freaked out. She ran outside and ran to her friend's house 1 block up. And she goes, "I'm not telling Despina that. She's going to freak out." And she goes, "Oh my gosh," she was so scared. She didn't want to be in the house at all. So I told her, "Ma, And I told her, I go, now that I know space clearing for a while, I go, you want me to take care of it, you know, cleanse? And she goes, no, don't even bother. She goes, that thing will attack you, which is true.
Yeah.
A lot of stories, like even Adela, my little one, she was like in the house and that she looks, she feels it. And if we go back there, we'll all feel it again too. That thing never left.
Yeah, yeah. And I also think that type of circumstances, the type of circumstances you guys were living under, has made you develop a skill for this stuff. I think
Exactly.
if you grew up in a house that wasn't haunted, you wouldn't be the person you are right now. You know what I mean?
You're right. And that's exactly what I said. So from that darkness did come the light. And that's how I got into healings and all that. But it was pretty freaky going through it. Because, Jimmy, you know how spirits talk. How do they talk? Through your mind.
Yeah.
They download information. So I always tell people, like, when I read about the news, this man killed somebody. What do you think's really behind the scenes? Those crazy things. They're like, do it.
Yeah. The voices told me to do it. The voices told me to do it. Yeah.
And that's exactly why I wrote the book, because not everything is your thinking. They come and they challenge you. And since you're on that anger energy, it comes right at that spot. Go ahead, kill them. Exactly. So you know the story. You're very gifted yourself, Jimmy. You don't give yourself credit. You're very open.
You know what it is, Linda? Like I said about you, you know, now that I'm old, when I was young and watching the Heights, I kind of like, my mom didn't like admit it to me. So she always used to tell me, it's your idea. It's your fantasy, whatever, you know, you're daydreaming, whatever.
And that's what my mother said too,
Yeah, at some point, I must have been like 9 or 10 when she finally broke the news, but she waited until we actually moved out of the apartment. But I can tell you right now, I remember in my apartment as well, things used to happen that just didn't make sense. Like, I would go to the kitchen from the living room to get, like, let's say, Minute Maid. Actually, that's a specific story of mine. I got up to get Minute Maid, and when I went back into the living room, all the coffee table cabinet doors were open, but I just closed them. I was like, oh, I didn't think of anything, you know, like I just closed them, you know. And my sister, which I mentioned before we went live, you know, she experienced something where she actually dug her nails into her thighs and ran for like 15 blocks in Washington Heights in the 80s with her nightgown on.
Wow.
You know, she didn't even consider the risk. That's how scared she was, you know. So it's crazy. And me myself in that apartment, one time I saw, like, I woke up and something made me look from my bedroom towards the hallway to my right, and I can't explain it. It was like a figure made of smoke. That's the best way I could describe it. And I looked at it and I started yelling, "Ma, ma, ma." And as I did that, it just faded away. It didn't like just go away, walk away, turn around, or anything like that. It faded away, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
A quick hello to Anne Maria, everybody. Thank you so much. Please like and share the live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Wow, Jimmy, that's amazing. Did your mother always bring you to the church like mine did? She always thought we were nutcases.
No, you know what? Like I said, once we moved from that first apartment in Washington Heights, then she opened up to me. Then I heard the story about my sister, the story with my brother. He went through his own stuff over there. You know what I mean? And the most vivid thing that I remember is this probably happened 4 or 5, maybe 6 times altogether. Waking up like in the middle of the night and seeing my father walking around the apartment with a knife looking inside the closet, because he would wake up and hear crazy noises, you know, in the middle of the night. And there was one time particularly, which I mentioned before, where I got up and I actually went and I was right behind him, and when he looked at me, he did the be quiet gesture, you know, because he thought like he was about to catch somebody doing something at that point in the apartment, you know. Back then, this stuff didn't really hit me. Now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, you know, this stuff is crazy. Like, I would never want my child to experience this kind of stuff, you know? Spooky.
Exactly. It was spooky. And also, I remember your mother saying to my mother that one of you saw the devil through the mirror. I don't know who it was, though. Was it your mother or you? I don't remember who saw it.
It was me and my wife when we first met, but this was a different apartment now. That's why I told you, the circumstances you live in, it kind of molds you and you become that, right?
Yeah.
So when we moved out of there, the first apartment in the story that we moved in, I can't remember anything ever happening over there that was spooky. But then we moved to another apartment in Astoria, and I had this mirror that I found.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really nice antique mirror. I just really like. It was the only time in my life I ever picked up something from the street that I liked, but it was an antique looking mirror, and I really, really liked it. So I brought it home, and I hung it up in the corner of my room. When me and my wife first met, it was during the first year. We were just hanging out in my room watching, I don't know, I think Family Guy, whatever. We were watching something, and then both of us, we saw an image in the mirror, And again, two of us. There's no way.
Of course, you can't both make it up, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
And something suspicious in my bedroom also, behind the heater. When we were painting, we realized there was something that resembled old blood splatter.
Oh my God.
But at the same time, keep in mind, it was behind the heater. So there's a lot of heat going on. So that probably what it was. But the way it looked when I first stumbled upon it, it kind of made me bug out. I was like, what the hell is that?
That's why I always tell people, they go to thrift stores. You know how many cases I know that they bought a dresser or something that had an attachment to it, and then they end up getting a ghost with it.
Yeah.
Like those thrift stores, I never buy. I mean, I'm not going to knock people, buy what you want, but it comes with a price. And how many people got hauntings from it?
Yep. Yeah.
Because it has some memory. Yeah, spirits on it and all that. So that's why I don't buy from that stuff, because I know that the energy, who knows what spirit you're buying.
Yeah.
It's crazy, Jimmy.
Yeah. And here's another story. We must have been, me and my cousin Stabrula in Kefalonia, where we're from, in Greece.
Yeah.
We must have been 9-10 years old, and being the brats that we were stealing cigarettes from let's say our grandfather or whatever, and then we would go somewhere where we could hide kind of, and we wouldn't get caught, and we would smoke cigarettes,
Yeah.
Our generations were different. It's not like that these days. When our generation before, we did crazy stuff, So one time we took a walk and we went into this field where there wasn't really any trees for about 30-40 yards around us. It was only I wouldn't even say bushes, just wild growth,
Mm-hmm.
on a farm. And we were sitting down, and all of a sudden I heard it. Tuk. It was a cucunara. I don't know how you say that in English. It comes from a tree.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Oh, a pine. A pine.
Uh-huh.
I think that's what it's called, a pine. But it hit her moving laterally. It wasn't a vertical fall. Sabri threw it with force, and it hit her in the back on her back.
Wow.
And we looked at each other, but at that point we understood that wasn't supposed to happen. And we looked all around, there was nobody around us, and we got up and then we ran home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Everybody, don't leave, stand still. And we'll be right back right after these messages.
We'll be here.
Stay tuned. Hi, I am Linda DeVitis. I am a psychic, clairvoyant medium, and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back with my special guest, Jimmy Dimopoulos. Yay! We're also going to talk about souls. What are the difference between the ones that are earthbound and what's the difference when they cross over? So, Jimmy, you want to tell them what earthbound means?
It also depends on the person. Everybody has a different perception of what that really is, you know? I personally believe if a person is killed violently or tragically, like in some type of like gruesome manner, not to be morbid in any way, I think those are the souls that never really, like, they don't
cross over, exactly.
Yeah, they don't go the full distance. You know, it's a never closing case for them. You know, I think they're trapped, like,
yes,
between here and whatever else is out there. They're trapped in between that. You know, that's what I think.
And also suicide. When it's not your time to go. You're not supposed to go. You're supposed to go the way you're supposed to go because you have contracts when you come here. Your soul journey, exactly. So when you don't fulfill them, you're going to have to come right back and fulfill your contract. So you don't want to do it again. That's why I tell people that are suicidal. I go, you want to repeat this crazy life? Just keep going because it does get better. You know, it can't be always down, down, down. There's a reason why you're going through. And I said, that's why I think God never gave up, because I could have given into the thoughts that they were telling me how to kill myself and I would never be here. But it all happened for a reason. And your experience, Jimmy, talk about what you went through.
In what fashion? In what way? What do you mean, like?
Like, you know, if you want to talk about it, you don't have to. Like about your health, you were getting a lot of, you know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We'll get into that for sure. So this ties into why I look like this. Earlier, I didn't want to scare you at all. But I actually had an attack today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but I fought it at home. I didn't have to go to the hospital, thank God. And I never told you about it. I don't want to make you nervous in any way. But at some point, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to do this tonight, you know?
Thank God. I'm so happy you're here, Jimmy.
Yeah, it was the first time it happened, and I learned something today, you know?
Yeah.
You could extract something good out of anything bad. That's my belief. So I've been doing really good for the last month, as I told you the other day when we were speaking. And the one thing that went differently today, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I walk the dogs. I grab a little something to eat. I take my time because I don't like to rush. And then I go to the gym by 5. So right when I started walking the dogs today, I don't know if you noticed the floods everywhere, the rain.
Oh my God, it was a nightmare, yeah.
I got up the first few seconds when I came out of my house to walk the dogs, it wasn't raining. But once it started, it came down like a waterfall.
Wow, yeah.
Right? So I get drenched. I bring the dogs back. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm uncomfortable, but it's good to suffer. I'm a believer in that, you know? So I was like, I'm going to go work out like this and be uncomfortable. And I'll get through it. So I did that. And then when I was done with my workout on the way home, I started like feeling an attack coming, and sure enough, it did. But I remembered my doctor telling me don't go to a beach, don't go to a pool because the cold water could affect your stomach. Right? And then I remember my grandmother in Kefalnya, she was never able to go to the beach or deal with cold water. So I did it to myself, working out, drenched from today's storm. I ended up paying for it, like, you know, with my health. But
are you okay?
I learned something. Now, yes. You know.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yes. But earlier, I couldn't even pick up the phone. Like, if you were.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Jimmy.
What are you going to do? But you know what? I have no complaints. The truth is, from 2016, August of 2016, till this August that just passed, I was living through hell, you know? And something happened, something changed in the last month or so. Pretty much the 6-year anniversary of when I started getting these attacks. And they just started, you know, going away little by little, you know? And I ran with it. Once that happened, I was like, you know what? This might be it. This might be the beginning. Because I went from being, let's say, sick every day to not feeling anything in a matter of like a 24-hour period.
Wow.
So I started thinking, there's a reason why this is happening, and I got to take advantage of it. And I started thinking, I'm going to start praying. I'm going to start meditating. I'm only going to drink, water or Gatorade like I'm drinking right now every now and then. I'm not going to eat past 6. I started changing things that I was doing just in case they would have worked. And everything just started working. But I believe my mom was praying for me really, really hard with Panagia, the Virgin Mary. And a lot of my family and a lot of my friends do. And I think power comes in numbers.
Of course.
And I think God gave me my life back, and I realized it right away. That's why I took the ball and I ran with it, and I haven't looked back since, except for today. But like I said, I blame myself for today. I think I put myself in that situation,
Well, you're a true warrior, Jimmy. God bless you. Everything you went through and everything you're going through, you're very strong, and you're very gifted, more than you know.
I have no choice. I have a daughter. I need to walk her down the aisle. I don't want her to. I don't want a stranger to do that, or a family member. I want that to be me, Yeah,
it definitely will be, because you're here for a reason.
Yeah.
And you never give up. You're a strong person. You're always fighting. God
That's
bless.
Our breed. That's how we grew up,
Exactly.
Some of us had it easy. Some of us had it tough. But I'll tell you what, the ones that had it tough have tougher skin today and can handle more things than what others can. Especially if you look at it from a generational aspect, like, the new generations, they don't have like the mental fortitude or problem solving abilities. Like, there's a regression in generations. I don't know why. That kind of scares me, which is off topic. So
no, it's okay. You can talk about it.
But yeah, it kind of worries me, My daughter, what world is she gonna find in front of her,
Yeah, just pray. That's all you could do.
Yeah.
My friend's like that too. She thinks she worries a lot, and I told her, you know what? Just have trust in God. There's everything pans out. And I want to tell you about a story that I went through, and I met an earth angel. So I was many years ago when Adela was a baby. I was going through the outlets to buy her like some socks and, little stuff for her to wear. And then I was so depressed, and I'm like, this man came out of nowhere, and he goes to me, "What's the matter, lady?" Then I go to him. I was talking like I know you. And then I say, I'm so depressed that we don't have money. We're in a real bad debt, this and that. So he goes to me, "I know you believe in God." He goes, "Do you know that everything pans out?" And then I go to him, "I guess, but right now I'm very depressed." And then he goes, "Trust me when I tell you," he goes, "in 1 year, your life's going to completely change for the better." Then I go, "Really?" He goes, "You're going to see." He goes, "And promise me to smile." And then I say, "Okay." And then he goes, "You got my word. In 1 year, everything's going to change for you." So then I was like, okay. And then you know how babies are, they distract you. So she was like pointing at something. I went to look, and sure enough, when I look back, he's gone. And I was like running through with the stroller. I'm like, where did he go? Because he made me feel so happy and better that things are going to change. So I looked, in 1 hour, he was totally gone. And see how God sends earth angels.
That could have been your guardian angel.
Yeah, and he came out of nowhere. I was like...
And speaking of guardian angels, I probably wouldn't believe in them. But again, I have a story,
Go ahead.
When we moved to Greece, to Kefalonia, I was either 7 or 8 years old. And we finished eating dinner. Over there, we eat dinner around 2, 3 in the afternoon. It's not like here, right?
Right.
So I asked my mom, my soccer ball was flat. I was like, "Mom, can I go to the mechanic that was like 2 blocks away, a motorcycle mechanic?" But he had an air pump, so I was able to pump my soccer balls over there all the time. So my mom was like, "Yeah, if you finish, go." So I take the ball. Because it was flat, I didn't feel like holding it. I was just kicking it on the way there. you know, and it would go like 10, 15 feet in front of me. Sometimes I would kick it, you know, see how high I could kick it or whatever. You know, I'm being a kid.
Yeah.
And at some point, I kick it vertically, right? And it comes back down and it starts bouncing.
Wow.
All of a sudden, it was full of air. I grab it. I didn't even think of anything. Go back home. 4 or 5 years later, maybe even more. I was like, wait a minute. That didn't make sense. How did the ball come down with air? When you're 7, 8 years old, you're not gonna question something. You automatically just, you know, whatever. You forget about it. Exactly. But then it hit me one day out of nowhere, and I never forget the day that it hit me out of nowhere. I was like, what the hell? But now I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe if that hadn't happened, I would have been hit by a car.
Yes.
Something along those lines. So I kind of believe, I know I'm not crazy. The ball bounced. I was on the way to pump it up with air.
Wow.
Must have been some kind of higher intervention, you know, that took place at that moment and at that time, you know.
Wow.
That's why I believe in guardian angels, you know.
Definitely. Definitely. And you know, that reminds me of a story when I was I was waiting for the N train to head to the city. And I was standing, you know, looking to see if the train's coming. I felt someone very lightly touch me and like push me back. So then I got nervous. I'm like, imagine someone was going to throw me in. Yeah, I'll never forget.
It could be a bad spirit playing jokes with you, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, I think the evil spirits, they definitely like to prank and control humans, you know, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we're naturally scared. Because if you really think about it, what's a ghost? The spirit of a person, which is something that's beautiful. But yet, why are we scared?
Yes.
You know, because there's been enough bad spirits to make the whole thing look spooky, you know?
And yeah, misery loves company. That's why that crazy lady at my mother's house was trying to put it in our mind to do the same thing she did. And I was telling my mother, I'm like, look, you don't understand. I'm so scared. It's telling me exactly how she did it. I was channeling her. And then, of course, my mother's like, okay, don't worry, we're going to the priest. So, of course, we would go under his, you know, his, how you call it, the thing that he wears, and he would pray over us. But I was like, that would last for a little bit, and then the terror would happen back again. It was a never-ending nightmare. I had so much anxiety. I was almost going on medicine because I couldn't take it no more.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever gonna stop. It's the location. If something took place there, if there was a spirit attached to that, whether it's, you know, the apartment or if the things that are in the apartment or whatever, that's it. You know, you just gotta deal with it, you know?
Exactly, but it was a nightmare. And Maria, poor thing, my twin, she suffered the most because I left first and then she couldn't take it no more. Actually, let me read you the comments. Anne says, right on, Jimmy, you're strong. And Maria said, yes, very bad. I don't know if you're reading them, but yeah, you are very strong, Jimmy.
Where would I be reading them from? From Facebook? Or?
Oh, Facebook, yeah. Click into the page and you can read them. Yeah, click into the live. So basically, yeah, misery loves company. And they, especially when I was vibrating on fear, that's exactly what was coming in, more of it.
Yeah, they feed on that even more. It just snowballs after that, you know?
Exactly. It was really hard.
Oh yeah, I see them. Yeah, I see the comments.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Did they ever scare you, Jimmy? Like anything that really scared you with them?
Like by the time I realized, there's two answers to this question, right?
Yeah.
By the time I realized all this stuff was real, I was kind of old enough to be logical and say, you know what? In all reality, I've never heard of a ghost kill a person, right? So the physical threat is eliminated at that point.
Exactly.
Now, if you have that skill or ability to like be able to like see and feel things, kind of like you do a lot, and I think I have a little bit of that as well.
You do, yeah.
Once you have that ability, I think like it never leaves you. And whenever something's going on, or if you're in a place, I'll give you an example. There's a cemetery in Kefalognano Island that's dedicated to the Italian soldiers that died during World War II. When first they occupied us, but then they became we became allies, and it was all good. So the Italians stayed there, and then when they died on the island, defending Greece along with the Greeks, there was they made a whole cemetery. They dedicated a whole cemetery to the Italian soldiers. And I don't know if you know this. Once a year, every year, the Italian Prime Minister visits Kefalonia and goes to that cemetery.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah. So if you go there at night, there's no you or me. There's no way we can go there and not pick up stuff. I'm talking about sounds.
Oh my God.
Like things in your peripheral vision or whatever. Goosebumps, the whole nine. Some people feel it, some people don't. Me, I hate going there.
Wow.
Because I just feel the energy. I feel the death, the misery, the torture. I could taste it in my mouth. It's the thing, You can't even describe it in words.
Wow.
Things,
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back right after these messages. Stay tuned, everybody. Hi, I am Linda DeVitis. I am a psychic, clairvoyant medium, and certified healer. I have also written a book, My Journey from Darkness to the Light, which is available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and on my website, www.healingsonthego.com. If you would like to book an appointment with me, call me at 917-929-4935. Thank you.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey. The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor.
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
Entertainment.
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
And optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back with my special guest, Jimmy Dimopoulos. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, Linda, why do spirits come through? What do they want to say? Why are they appearing? Even though we can't do anything on the physical form, they're trying to communicate with us. What do the earthbound spirits want? Well, it depends if they're vibrating on a negative energy or a positive energy. Usually earthbound spirits are very attached to the earth. That's why we see them very clearly. And if they went tragically, I hate to say it, misery loves company. They want to take you with them because they don't want to be alone. And they're putting these things and thoughts into your mind so that way you can join them. To read more about my book, you can find it on healingsonthego.com. My Journey from Darkness to the Light, and Jimmy is definitely in the book as well. Speaking of our experience seeing this crazy spirit at my mom's house, but earthbound spirits are very visible. In your house too, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
House, different areas too.
Yeah.
When we moved to Bayside, I had one experience where I woke up my brother. I was like, Dad. I was freaking out because at this point, I was a teenager and I thought it was a physical threat. Again, I woke up and I looked at where the door was located in my bedroom, and I saw this guy. I could see the jeans, the construction boots. Wow. He had a sweater on, and he was kind of like bent over, and he was just kind of like looking in on me and my brother. But as soon as I said that, he stood up and he walked away. You know? We checked the whole house, everything. Nothing was open, nothing was broken. It was just something that I saw. That one, there's a chance I hallucinated. I was by myself.
No, I don't believe you did.
No,
Because no, you're very
but when something happens and I have another set of eyes or multiple set of eyes besides me, then I don't question it at all.
Well, you notice when you see them, it's always, they ask me, why do we see it in parts? Like you only see the head floating or you only see part of them. And I tell them because they're on a different vibrational energy, like the dimension. So I never saw it in one form ever. Have you, like head to toe? I saw always parts of them, like head only, or they're just floating, which is crazy. And I read that they're like three feet above the earth where the dimension is. So that's why it's always higher.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because our energy is lower and they go a little higher, which makes sense why we would always see them a little bit upper.
Yeah, yes.
And, they transform themselves because sometimes you think, I've noticed that in my mother's house, I used to always see her like from the back. She looked like my older sister. And then my dad would say it too. So when they say demonic, that's true. They could transform themselves to anyone, which is crazy too.
Yeah.
But I think that because of what the energy is, like you can sense if it's negative or positive. So even if, let's say, they look like an angel, the way they feel to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
it's all in whatever you see, like whatever they want you to see, that's what they're gonna show. Also, I believe,
Exactly.
My brother also saw my cousin Taki, who had died tragically in a motorcycle accident.
I remember that. Yeah.
He saw him as an angel. He saw the wings, the glow, the face, everything.
Wow.
But at the same time, you know what's messed up? Mm-hmm. We were scared of that. Meanwhile, it's the most beautiful thing you can see. Like imagine, you get a second in front of you physically to see a loved one that has passed. We should embrace that and want it instead of being scared of it or bring a priest, Fede Papa, or something like that. And that, but as far as other spirits go, if you understand again, you understand that they don't have closure and while they were here in physical form and they can't escape. I think they're just stuck, like I said before, they're stuck in a weird place between life and death and they can't leave it completely, the life form, because they died tragically, maybe it wasn't their time to go, or whatever the reason might be.
It's funny. I had a message one time. I was laying in bed. By the way, hello, Michelle. Welcome, everybody. Please like and share my live. It would be so greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. I was going to say that I was laying down and this message came through me and it says, that every house has a spirit and it depends on the vibration if it's welcomed or not.
Yeah.
So I believe every house has something, but they also said never put welcome mats on the floor because it's like the Ouija board. You're attracting anything in. I didn't know that until this lady told me.
Wow, yeah, I've never heard of that either, but it makes sense,
And in dreams are very real.
Oh, I hate dreams. Man, I'm sorry that I'm speaking like this.
No, go ahead.
Throughout my life as an adult, and my wife as my witness, my mother, some of my friends, my partner at work, they'll tell you when I have dreams and they spook me, it's never a good dream where I dream I made a lot of money and I made a lot of money. It's always something like I'm swimming in dirty water, I'm running away from something, or somebody's going through something really messed up, whatever that could be, and I'm dreaming this and it spooks the hell out of me. And so many times, it happened 2 weeks ago between me and my wife and the people that I dreamt about, but a lot of times I'll have dreams like that are just very dark and something manifests, something happens, And it's usually, like I said, it has to do with, like, if I see somebody swimming in dirty water, you're gonna get a call from me to make sure you're okay. Because
Wow.
I get scared because too many times I've had bad dreams about certain things and something stupid really happens, you know?
Hmm.
And I think all humans have the ability to unlock the parts of the brain that you need to be able to, like, you know, live through this stuff and have this mentality and be okay and comfortable with it, you know. But not everybody wants to dig that deep, because sometimes
Right.
people start thinking there's a stigma attached to this, you know, that if you talk about ghosts or spirits or anything along those lines, that, you know, you're crazy or you're paranoid or something along those lines.
Exactly. It's always something negative. And a lot of people tell me, I don't believe in spirits, but I believe in hauntings. I was like, what? That's
Yeah, that
the
doesn't
same
make
thing.
sense. Exactly.
So I said, so wait a minute. I said, only the bad spirits live and the good ones don't?
You know what? You know what? Whoever's watching this and is still, like, not sure about it, you could Google, or you could just go on YouTube and search for last words before death or anything along those lines, right? And you're gonna get a few stories. One of them is very popular. Steve Jobs, right? He was an atheist. However, when he died, when he took his final breaths, like those final 2-3 seconds, he stared at something, right? Like he was fixed on something, and he said something like, I don't know if these were the exact words, but something along the lines of, wow, wow, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. What did he see that last second of his life that made him say, wow? Like, this is Steve Jobs, you know, for somebody like that to say, wow, it has to be something, you know, that's
amazing.
huge. Yeah, you know, and I think it was spiritual. That's what I think it was.
Definitely. I had a near-death experience, actually. I wrote it in my book, but just a little quick excerpt of it. There was one time I was just fed up with everything. I was arguing with everyone. I was all fed up with them. So I put my hands up in the air, and I didn't even want to say it, but I said, God, if you're ready, take me. So that night I went to bed, and then all of a sudden I had a dream of the sky opening up. And then he goes, Linda, are you ready? I was like, oh. So then I was like, and then I was just watching. I saw the angels surrounding, like, my decision. So he goes, but I'll tell you this. He goes, your mom and your twin sister will take it the hardest. So I was like, no, I'm not ready yet. And, you know, my favorite author is Neil Donald Walsh. And those are the words that before it's your time to go, he always says that, are you ready? And then you go. So then when I said, no, forget it, I don't want to go. And then I saw that the sky closed. I'm getting chills talking about it. But from then on, I say, I would never say that again, because I was ready to go. If I said yes, I probably would have died in my bed.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how God listens to everything, because I was saying it too often. I was thinking words, you know, nobody hears me, but yeah, they do hear you. They hear you very clear.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Did you ever have a death experience or no?
Yeah, with
did?
Jerry, as a matter. Well, I wouldn't call it a near-death experience, but the circumstances were certainly close to a death experience. It was, I was 14, so that means Jerry was 16. We were in Kefalonia again, and one of my cousins, it's a female, she let me borrow her motorcycle, and being as stupid as young as we were, I was like going on about 85 miles an hour for a good like 15, 20 minutes straight, like through all the villages and everything, close to where you're from, that part of Kefalonia. We went all the way towards there. And then, you know, before you know it, I lost control of the motorcycle, and we slid for about 30 yards, I would say, give or take. Jerry was on top of the bike was on top of me, and that's how we were sliding. So
I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had burns all over my body from the asphalt and stuff. My,
Oh my
left leg got caught up in the wheel.
Oh my God.
When the accident happened, I actually got up and I fell right back down because my left leg was completely broken. It was facing, one leg was like this, the other one was like this, you know? It was pretty
Wow.
weird. But anyway, now, when I look back at that accident, it's more like a dream than it is reality. And again, it took me a few years for this to process. I don't know why, because I was old enough at that point. But again, it took me like 2-3 years for this to process, maybe even more. When I look back and I try to memorize the accident itself, the view that I get is not a lateral view. It's a vertical view. I'm looking at it from on top, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why can't I remember it from the ground level? Why is it? How come I'm a third person? You know, it's like I'm one person looking at Jimmy and Jerry crash. You know, it's not me witnessing the crash that I'm going through.
Oh, wow.
You know?
You were watching it from the outside. Wow.
Yeah, something along those lines. Now, like you said earlier, do I mention these things? Do I talk about these things? No, only to certain people. Like my wife knows about this. My mother knows about it. My brother, I think I've told. You know, but I don't really tell people any stories of ghosts.
Yeah, because they judge. Unfortunately, not everyone's open to it. They think you got, not you, but in general, anyone with spirits, they think your screws are a little loose.
Yeah, and you know
Who cares
what?
anyway?
The truth be told, that accident that we got into, by coincidence, where we crashed, there was these two ladies sitting on the balcony drinking like their afternoon coffee and stuff. And I remember their screams. And the guy that took us to the hospital, which by coincidence was an American, we have to go on break.
No.
Oh.
I'm just telling him to open the light because it looks a little dark to me. Okay, go ahead.
By coincidence, an American driver, an American tourist, he was the first one on the scene for us, and he put us in the car right away. Like him and Jerry had to put me in the back because I was almost fainting.
Oh my
I
God.
had burns everywhere, and my leg was broken and stuff, and I was like almost losing consciousness. You know. What was the point to this, by the way? Oh, the two ladies. The two ladies came downstairs. And they were devastated, like they were crying, and they were telling the person, the driver, that they thought I hit my head on the sidewalk.
Oh my God.
You know, but I never did. You know, I never did.
Wow.
But I see, if I would have saw that accident from the ground level, I would have told you, yeah, Linda, I saw the sidewalk. It came close to my head. You know, I saw it from on top, so it wasn't close. The ladies, it was too fast. They really didn't know what they saw, you know. But now I could replay the accident in my dream. I'm like, my head never really came close, you know, to the sidewalk. At that,
you went out of body. Wow.
Huh?
Sorry to interrupt you. I said you went out of body.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other explanation. Even if I want to hide it or lie to myself or not admit it, there's no other option. You know, that's the only thing it could have been. You know?
You definitely did. This lady I know got hit by lightning, and she told me that she saw her body on the floor while she was floating up, and she saw everybody crying and screaming, and she was just there. They were surrounding her body, and she was watching, just like you're talking about your own experience.
Yeah. Spooky stuff. But as far as ghosts or anything like that, I haven't seen or experienced anything in years, and especially with my health being the way it is. Like, my brain has been in another place for the last 6 years, you know. So, you know, I haven't had any experiences lately. I would like to now because I'm not scared anymore. You know, I would love to sit down and talk with a spirit or a ghost or something along those lines, you know.
Well, I feel you have a beautiful angel with you. When you're talking about it, I feel it right next to you. You have with wings opened up, It's not a girl, it's a man. I feel like it's your cousin that passed away, because I do feel like a man's energy with wings, just like you were describing right next to you.
Yeah. I like to assume that's the case. You know, I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah.
I'm not into organized religion, so you're not gonna catch me at church too often. But God lives in me. He's in my heart. He's in my soul. If Jesus came down right now and told me to sacrifice myself for him and for humanity, I would do it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I saw Jesus when I was little, and my little one she has her own sightings too. She has the gift too. But yeah, Jesus for sure. But you know what? I used to keep my stuff secret because I was like, we're not doing anything bad. Like, we're just sending healing. So I used to always be scared of being judged. That's why I kept it to myself for so long.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, whatever.
The same stuff goes on with UFOs and stuff like that, you know? And people don't want to talk about it. But lately, I don't know if you noticed, in the last like 2-3 years, there's been an uptick in UFO reporting. Like,
yes.
You know, the government's starting to release certain documents. This is not conspiracy, by the way.
No, it's definitely true.
Yeah. The Navy's releasing footage. NASA's coming out and saying, this and this and that or whatever. I personally think when it comes to other intelligent life forms besides ourselves here on Earth, I think the governments know. They know a lot more than what they're letting on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they're preparing us little by little through memes on the internet, through little news outlets and stuff like that. And then you have the History Channel coming on, the Navy, now NASA. Trump talked about it, Obama joked around about it. Little by little, it's becoming mainstream.
It's a fact. I mean, it's such a huge universe. We can't be the only ones floating in the galaxy. They definitely exist, the good and the bad.
That's to think that, to assume we're the only ones. That's really selfish. And
exactly.
It's so big, the universe, and then there's so many universes. And what is a universe in? Like I said, you have to be kind of like, very old-fashioned and not think critically to assume we're the only ones here. There's no way.
Exactly.
There's no way.
And that's what we're going to come on for the next show.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I do believe in that. I've had experiences with them at night, but that's a totally different subject. Whenever you feel ready, we'll come back again, talk about them. But I totally believe in it. That's for sure.
Me too.
Certain things you can't not believe in because it's just in your eyes. So.
Well, you know what? Even if you look at like ancient Egyptian scriptures and drawings that they have, and I think even the Mona Lisa, there's a UFO in it.
Wow.
A lot of like pictures, or actually, paintings and drawings that depict religious figures or whatever. There's like, disc-shaped objects that are in the sky, and this goes across the whole spectrum, like the Aztecs, the Romans, the Greeks, the Egyptians, the Mayans, everybody. It goes all around the world at all different, points of history,
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, I want to thank you so much for being on. It was such a pleasure. If someone wants to contact you, where could they reach you?
They could reach my email at jimfxnyc@gmail.com. jimfxnyc@gmail.com.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
You too. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.